All right, so let's move on with the lesson. Hopefully, you took some time to play around with the select clause because, again, when dealing with database management, I mean, you're going to be using the select clause a lot, okay? Because what you want to do is you want to select data. You want to get data from the database. So how do you do it? Using the select clause and from, and then we looked at where as well. So you have these different clauses to tinker with, and we're going to continue on with this. We're going to add something to this, and that is wildcards. Let me pull up my slides here. Okay, so maybe we want to select every title based on a specific letter. Like if we're searching for an album, and I know it begins with a particular letter, but I don't know the full name of it. How could we do something like that? Um, we do that with the wild card, and the wild card symbols you can see here. It is the let's say percent symbol. This will allow us to select based on a specific letter or character. Okay, so let's say let's use this example. Select title from album, where title, and then we have the like clause. Okay, so that will like keyword, where so select title from album where title is like, and then here we have the a and then percent symbol. So let's do that. Let's come back over here to our SQL server, and we're going to say select title from album where title, again, like, that's our keyword. And you can see I like to capitalize my keywords. You don't have to do it. Okay, that's just something that I like to do. That's just a style thing for me. So where title is like, and in quotes, I'm going to say a percent symbol, close quote, and then semicolon. And when I do that, it pulls up these three albums: A Love Supreme, ABC, and All in All. And it does that because it looks at the very first character, which is A, and then anything else after is a wild card. So this symbol right here, this wild card symbol means, hey, the first letter is, in this case, A, but it could be any letter. But we're looking at the first letter, and then anything after doesn't matter. It's a wild card. So this will pull up any album or a title that begins with the letter A. And that's why we get these three. You can see this will retrieve any album where the title begins with the letter A. Let's do this next one. Select title from album where title is like, and let's put a T. Since I capitalize everything, um, I don't know if it's really going to matter. I don't think it is. Let's see. Select title from album where title like open quote, do parentheses, and then T close quote. I said parentheses. I didn't mean parentheses. I meant quote. Excuse me. Uh, open quote, percent symbol, T, close quote, semicolon. Looks like I got an empty set right there because I don't have any albums, do I? I don't. I'm sorry. It doesn't end with the letter T. Yeah, yeah. So this will pull up any album that ends with the letter T, and you can see I have an empty set here. I'm gonna try another one. Select all. We'll select title from album. Let's see if we can get one that pulls up where the last letter is E, and there we go. You see that works. This pulls up any album title that ends with the letter E.
How do you back out of that, coach, if you type it wrong one error to get back on the
Put a semicolon and hit enter because you can't just go back once you create a line. You just have to, you just put a semicolon and hit enter and then start the clause all over again. Uh, but here we can see this percent symbol E means, hey, the first characters, any it could be any kind of character so long as it ends with the letter E. And that's what we have here. So that's the wild card. Wild card says, hey, again, if I want to pick anything that begins with the letter A, I'll say A and then percent symbol. That percent symbol says, hey, that's a wild card. So it could be any characters, any range of characters, whatever, so long as this first character matches. And then secondly, this example here would select anything so long as the last character is T. So it really just matters where you put your percent symbol. Uh, and so here's another kind of wild card, and that is the underscore. And this underscore is used to match a single character. So here, when we say select all from album where title is like underscore A and then percent symbol, this underscore means, hey, this first character can be anything. The second character is an A, and then wild card, well, the percent symbol, so it could be anything. It could be a range of whatever afterwards. Let's try that. I'm going to say select, well, we did star. Select star from album where I'll say title, because we're looking at the title, where the title is like open quotes, underscore, A, wild card, close quote, semicolon. So this is going to check. It's going to say, hey, the first character where the underscore is, that could be anything. The second character has to be A, and then anything after the A, it doesn't matter. And there we see, like it mentions in the slides, we get Mama's Gun, Paranoid, and Tapestry. Because the first character is whatever, it can be anything. The second character has to be A, and then anything else can go afterwards. So you can see wild cards are good for when you want to search your data based on a specific parameter. Okay, like I mentioned, we want to get everything. I want to get every album that begins with uh, the letter B. Okay, and then it'll pull those up. And so, as as you are searching, you can refine your search query as you need to filter through the data. But this concept, using wildcards, this is how it is done. All right, so let's move right along. Next, we have the order by. Also, before we move along, again, if you need to pause the video, do that, play around with it some more, try to get it to work. Just keep tinkering with it. Check your spelling. Check and make sure that you are using semicolons. Check those things out before you move on. Like if it's not working for you, you want to check those things first. Read your error messages and then make the adjustments as you need to. Again, just zooming through these videos is not going to teach you to become a developer or anything like that. It's not going to improve on your skills and development. But actually working this stuff out is going to help you. This is just a guide. All right. So now that being said, order by. If we want to query based on like a specific order, okay, we can do that, because right now when we're selecting the data, or when we are making a query, the results are popping up based on the order that they're listed. So based on essentially the ID number of the row. But let's say we want to organize, let's say we want to alphabetize, the artists. So here we use the order by clause. Okay. And so we're saying, hey, select these fields from this table, order it by this particular field. And this will alphabetize it in, was it descending? That's the default in descending order. So let's come over here. I'm going to say select, give me the first name. So F name, comma, L name from artist, order by L name, semicolon. So this is going to return the first and last name of every artist, but it's going to order it by their last name. And when I hit enter, and we see there it is listed, comma comes first because it's a null value. Since it's a null value, there's nothing there. There's no existence of a last name. We didn't use his government name. But the rest of the values, you can see they have been, or they've been alphabetized. And while we're here, let's look at this, because something else that we can do with our fields, sometimes they're not as readable, right? If I look at this F name, L name, I mean, I know what it is. However, it may not always be as readable. What we can do is we can create aliases for these. Let me see if I make sure I get this done correctly before I start teaching about this. I'm putting myself on the spot. I would say select F name as first, L name as last, from artist, order by L name. Yep, that did it. So here, instead of my column heading reading F name and L name, I can change the name here. I can create an alias. So I say, this is first, this is last. And so it returns first and last name. So that lets yes, my column names are styled a certain way. But when I want to return the data, I want to retrieve the data, I can set those up to be whatever it is I want it to be. So I can create an alias for it, as we did right here. And it works just fine. It just, instead of it reading F name and L name, it reads first and last. Cool. Retrieving data gets more complex and more fun depending on how you write your query. We also have group by, and we have having clauses, for example, as well as using conditionals to retrieve data, perhaps from a certain range. As all these slides, we can't introduce everything, but remember that practice makes better. So that's going to be it with retrieve. We'll I would encourage you to look at group by and look at those clauses as well, because you can group your data survey, or use having, saying, hey, group select these from table, having where such and such is having some kind of clause. There's a whole lot more ways, and again, it gets a lot more complex depending on how you want to retrieve your data, but it's not something that you can't do. Okay, so I just don't want to be exhaustive again with any of these slides. I like to introduce material, present some very fundamental things that you can do, and then you have to take it upon yourself to go beyond that. Okay, but yes, I would strongly encourage you to look up these two clauses as well as anything else. All right, so we're going to end retrieve, and then the next set of slides we're going to do, we're going to look at how we can update data. Say, for instance, God forbid we should make a mistake. Oh, not me. I don't make mistakes. But when we make a mistake with the data, we need to update it somehow. How can we go about doing that? So that's what we'll do on the next slide.